So, sir, you have worked in the FIFA World Cup IT Solutions Committee, I believe. So, sir, what attracted you in Mahindra Racing?
Well, Mohit, I've always loved racing. I used to do a little bit of racing myself. I started in like 1998. I did a lot of rallying on bikes in South India. Then I did a lot of four-wheeler rallying also in cars. But I realized pretty early in my life that my enthusiasm was far ahead of my ability. So I stopped. My first job out of college was working with Jay Anand in Coimbatore. So I started working with him, doing the F3 cars. I was his chief mechanic. And we also went and built the Formula Mahindra, as we called it, in 1993. We exhibited in 93 at the Auto Expo. So that goes back to my motorsport roots. So I've always been interested in motorsports, been a keen follower of it. And I've been in the Mahindra Group for 10 years doing different projects. My speciality essentially is around technology and sports. So I've done the FIFA World Cup as a project manager. In fact, I've worked on 4 World Cups. So it's been, as I said, after 4 World Cups, okay, it was enough and let's try motorsport. So I was involved with the MotoGP project initially and then got involved with, started up the Formula E project. So that's been the genesis towards this.
So, at any point of your life, did you think that I want to be a racer?
Yes, I started my career like that. I remember I was in Bangalore in college. When I was in first year college, I started repairing other people's motorcycles, earned money and started racing. But I was never very good at racing. Okay, I was very enthusiastic, but my enthusiasm was so high, my ability was so low. Then I started organizing rallies. In fact, one of Bangalore's biggest event called the Kadur Safari, this was like 20 years ago, was totally organized there. So I've always been more on the organizational and promotional side of motorsport than participating.
So you have done managing the events. You thought that it would be best for me to go and manage the whole, event more than being a racer yourself. Okay, sir. And we wanted to know that how is Formula E different from the other motorsport series?
See, the biggest difference for Formula E and other motorsport series is, in other motorsport series, the fan goes to the race. In Formula E, the race comes to the fan. We bring the race to the city center. We bring it to your doorstep of your house for racing. So I think that's the biggest difference. The second difference, I think, of Formula E is that we are looking towards the future. Okay, we are looking at the next generation of mobility. We are looking at cleaner solutions of mobility. And I think that attracts a total new demographic. So there's a lot more women who are interested in Formula E, okay, and a lot more children. And many parents who love motorsport start introducing their kids at a much younger age at Formula E because there's no sound. The sound is very little. So it's quite children friendly also as a motorcycle series, and it's within the city. And over and above that, it's very affordable. So the ticket pricing is really affordable. So basically what we try and price the ticket is that if you want to go for an entertainment on Saturday, if you go for the movies with the family or you go something else, Formula E will cost you the same to go watch the race. So it's not going to break your budget, something like some other motorsport series will do.
That's what were the challenges developing your own powertrain?
Well, I think that's a very nice question because we already started with a very high level of powertrain when we raced last year. The McLaren motor, the Williams battery, the Hewlett gearbox was all excellent stuff. So it is quite challenging to start improving on it. The electric engine is around 86% efficient compared to an IC engine which is only around 28% efficient. So from 86 onwards to take it higher, it's quite challenging. So we basically started working on the efficiency of the motor, etc. And that puts a lot of pressure on it because now we're pushing the boundaries and to develop it. So we have a very good team of engineers, designers who are able to put this together. And I think the other big challenge is the time frame. We're a small team and we are racing and putting a car together is really quite difficult. So managing people, the build of a car, design and race with 26 people, it's quite a tough task.
So how better is the M2 Electro from the default car you raced in season 1?
See, the M2 Electro is considerably better. We are on 4% better in terms of efficiency on it, and we are on 7 kilos lighter. Okay. Through this, we've seen better top speed, better thermal efficiency, and also the modification of gearbox. We have reduced one speed in the gearbox, so we are from 5 speeds, we've gone to 4 speed, and that basically makes that less shifts. Less shifts means less time lost between shifts. We lose approximately 0.2 like 25 milliseconds per shift. Okay, so over a lap of maybe 40 shifts, you're basically talking on 0.2 seconds if I can save for one shift. So the number of shifts also is really important in terms of gearbox.
And so, what are the possibilities of an Indian E-Prix? Where would you like it to be? At dedicated circuits like Budh and MMRT, or customized street circuit?
At Mahindra, we are really interested in having an Indian E-Prix. We are working very hard towards it. In fact, in the next 2 days, we are trying to introduce this concept of the Indian E-Prix, that we are going to be doing the demo run of the Formula E car, and we're also going to be demonstrating this to a lot of people out here. So keeping that in mind, it's all towards the task of hosting an Indian E-Prix. When you talk about E-Prix, it should be in a city street circuit. Now that's going to be a bit of a challenge finding a street circuit, but we believe there are opportunities in Bangalore potentially, Bombay, maybe, okay, or we have to look at some sort of a modified area, like can it be the Juhu aerodrome, okay, as a possibility, or a modification of the MMRT track, okay. Both could be a challenge because, see, Formula E in the calendar, if you look at it, normally the Asian races are October to December, January, and to run a race in November in Delhi would be quite difficult because 4 to 5 o'clock in the evening, the fog starts coming in, the weather gets sort of thing. So keeping that in mind, challenging. Personally, I think also Chennai would be a very interesting city. It's got a huge motorsport culture. It's easy entry and access because you can bring the car with ship it out from there. So we are going to be looking at options, and I think I'm going to be shooting myself out here, but you can be well guaranteed season 3, if not, but season 4, there'll definitely be an Indian race.
And some time ago, if you remember, Lewis Hamilton, he showed a demo of the class, the McLaren class, at Marine Drive. So, do you think Marine Drive can be a street circuit?
I think it needs to be evaluated because doing a demo run and doing a race is quite different. A demo run is a controlled environment, one car. It can be set up specially for that. For a race, you're going to have 20 cars racing at the same time, you need a space, etc. So Marine Drive would be perfect, ideal, but I don't think it's feasible because I think it's just too narrow. It will not be safe enough, and there will be a lot of resurfacing which needs to be done on Marine Drive for having a race. I think Juhu is an option, and there could be certain other areas also which you'll have to look at in terms of getting the work done. We are also wondering if the BKC Birla or the Bandra Kurla complex could be an area also which could potentially be looked at.
So, how much time do you think it will take to replace car swapping with a single car race?
See, as per the FIA roadmap, we are going to be going to a single car by season 5. So, when I say season 5, the single car will be tested in less than 24 months from now. Because by Jan 20, so by 2018, when we start the season, 2018, we'll be in a single car. So that's just over 2 years from now. So we are really aggressively moving towards that. In fact, one of the responsibilities which I have is I am the chairman of Formula E Teams Association. I represent all the 10 teams and with the FIA for Formula E. We just had a very big meeting day before yesterday in Buenos Aires to discuss the tender for the chassis and the battery for season 5. And that will be going out for public tendering very soon. We will be using a spec chassis for season 5, and we'll be using potentially a battery, which is going to be common, but it's going to be really exciting and interesting, and that's something which I'm working on right now quite intensely.
So what are the challenges in using a single car? Because is it the tires that need to be changed in a pit stop, or what are the key things?
See, today the biggest challenge for a single car is weight. So the weight of the battery. Today, the weight of the cells in a car is on 204 kilos. Okay, and that's 28 kilowatts. So if I want to double it, it's going to become 400 kilos. Okay. At the same time, energy density is improving in batteries, so it's not going to double. We are trying to get the full distance with just another 40 kilos being added on to the car. And that's where we're working with battery manufacturers, the cell manufacturers to try and come it down. So our biggest challenge still is the weight and the energy density of the battery.
So where do you see, where do you and others see the sport Formula E in 5 years' time?
Well, I think this is something which is just going to keep growing. There's already a lot of interest. We're just in the second year right now. We have just done 1 season and 4 races. We're not even 1.5 seasons. We have got around 100 cities which are interested in getting Formula E there. There are new manufacturers starting to come in. Jaguar just announced coming in, which is really good to the championship. So I think if we start looking at it, we just see a very good future. And once we move to a single car series, there's going to be a lot more excitement also coming in on board. So I believe that in 5 years' time, this is going to be a genuine alternate motorsport series for fans around the world. It's never going to replace, and nor is it expected to replace Formula One or anything else. This is complementary to any other motorsport series. Yes.
So Truly Racing, they took their name back. What was the reason why they took their name back?
See, currently in the championship, as per the regulation, there can only be 10 teams. Okay, so franchises, as you know, are commercial businesses also. They can be bought and sold. So it came a time when Truly decided that it would rather invest somewhere else, and Jaguar Land Rover took over the franchise. So it's more of a commercial deal, and they did struggle a little bit with their technology also for season 2 to get the car. So they a combination of the technology and a commercial decision was driving it. I'm not speaking with authority because I really don't know much, but I believe that's the direction it took.
So do you have a message for our Indian fans, sir?
Well, I think we race for you guys. We wear our hearts on our sleeves for India, and that reflects everything what we do. In fact, if you look at our t-shirts, you can see the Indian flag on it. So it's on our sleeves, it's on the car, it's everywhere. The whole team understands that we are essentially an Indian team. And I think the biggest thing what I'm expecting from our fans is we need to win fan boost every time. And I think that's what our fans should come and involve themselves. We have one of the largest followings of more than 2 million people. In fact, the largest following. Ours is more than combined all the other teams put together. So I'm going to request our fans on Facebook to start getting involved. We are a team which is accessible. We have drivers who want to be in touch with you. We are people. So reach out to us. We will reach back to you. Okay?
Sure, sir. You have been the pioneer in Indian Motorsports Network, sir. We thank you for giving us your time. Thank you, sir.